everybody, and welcome to the Cave Trolls podcast. Today with me, I have Dave.
Over here.
And I have Jordan.
That's my name.
And I am Terry, and we're going to get started. Today I want to talk about the DBZ Tribute website, which is really, really awesome. I want to talk about R-rated movies, and is it okay for children to watch R-rated movies? And Pokemon Go launched last week. Well, the teaser launched last week. We want to get into that a little bit. There's 6 Avenger teams this year. And that's crazy. All at the same time. Rumors about a new Akira movie. We want to talk a little bit about board games and how to introduce people into reading comic books and other nerdy things. Yeah. So let's jump into that right now. So the DBZ Tribute website, I was looking it up, and it looks like DBZ mashed together with a Pixar property is really the best way I can describe it for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's completely
but not
fan-made.
necessarily as like childish.
No, I mean, Dragon Ball Z is pretty childish. I mean,
Well, yeah,
people
but-
yell at each other until their hair gets bigger, and then they kill the other guy. And those people don't actually die, so quite childish, but in the best way possible.
Do you think they just yell so loud that they time travel into a point in their future where they didn't cut their hair and they're stronger?
I know I'm not an expert on time travel, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened.
I'm pretty sure.
Like scientifically. Now, see,
Because in the future we all turn blonde.
well, see, time's really more like a rug, Dave, and
I think more of a nice doily.
nice. If the doctor were here, he would tell you that you are correct. Have you seen these pictures? Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, I just checked it out.
You just checked it
a
out?
minutes ago. So
If you're going to talk at me, talk into the microphone at me, all right? If you're going to yell at me, do it into the mic.
I'm not ever behind the microphone. I'm usually behind the buttons.
That's fine. It's awesome. I have enough charisma to go around, so it's okay.
Okay, I'm stealing some.
So, would you agree that it looks kind of like a Pixar property?
Yeah, it's a lot like Pixar. That's all I got.
It reminds me a little bit of Wreck-It Ralph, that animation.
Yeah, like quality level is amazing.
Right.
And these are just like the roughs.
Yeah, this is not a finished product, and like I want to say again, this is a fan campaign. It's not run by any means by any of the DBZ people. I believe there's no donations available because it is, copyrighted material, so they can't make any money off of it. But don't quote me on that. Check it out. It's dbztribute.com. So check it out. Look into it. It's really awesome. I will give you a little bit of a warning. Boo looks freaking scary in 3D.
Hell yeah.
No, I say this is different because these characters have been in 3D forms before in the video games.
Yeah, but those are more cell shaded, and it was meant to look more like the anime.
Yeah, exactly. It was meant to look like the anime.
This is like straight up realistic 3D.
Yeah, this is its own art style, and it does look awesome. It's just a fun little thing that I found, and I actually found it when I was looking up things about Pokemon Go.
Oh.
Which is the new AR video game that's going to be coming to Android and iOS from Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. I don't know if Game Freak has its hand in it because Game Freak is one of the developers on the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're doing anything with this. But essentially, it's Pokemon in real life is what they're trying to dub it and what they're trying to get people to believe it's going to look like. I think it's pretty inaccurate of what the game's actually going to be. But essentially, it's like those geocaching games like Ingress, that people that are actually making it. You hold up your phone, it'll go off, and it'll say a Pokemon's nearby, and you can attempt to catch it and battle with it. You can add it to your collection that you can then battle with your friends, similar to the normal Pokemon games, but it's all based on your location. So there's going to be a special Pokemon if you visit the Eiffel Tower. There's going to be a special Pokemon if you go to, in the commercial, Times Square. That's where the Mewtwo battle took place.
Oh.
And everybody was battling it almost like an MMO, like not a quick time event, but the special events that happen sometimes that are random.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, everyone who was nearby got a notification saying, "Hey, Mewtwo's nearby." Everyone was battling it. They defeated it, so everyone got a Mewtwo.
See, I just want to see people running around in the same spot, just looking ridiculous, trying to catch these Pokemon.
Depending on how you actually do it, because in the commercial, like a guy will press a button on his phone, and then a Pokeball appeared in his hand, and they threw it at the Pokemon that he could clearly see. Now, there have been certain AR games where if you hold up your phone, it augments what you're seeing to where a creature or whatever you're looking at appears like it's actually on the ground with you.
Yeah.
So if they do it like that, this could be a neat game. Mm-hmm. But if I'm just getting a notification on my phone saying, "Hey, there's a Pokemon near you, try to catch it," And I'm just looking at my phone.
Like
I'm going,
every couple minutes.
yep.
And,
I
and then you
toss
just
the Pokeball.
press Pokeball, and then, hey, you got a Weedle.
Exactly. I don't know how much more fun that would be compared to the normal game, but depending on how they do this and what it actually looks like, this could be really neat. This
Yeah.
could be the MMO that I've wanted from Pokemon.
I'm definitely seeing potential here, but still, I'm like,
I just one time want to be walking through the tall grass. Just do it once. So that it's actually that realistic.
that's why we didn't mow our backyard.
That's why I never mow my lawns, because I want Pokemon to appear. I like the idea. It kind of fits with Nintendo's earlier initiatives from the past couple years, but before their president actually passed away recently. Is it not the Betterment of Life? I don't remember what the name of their campaign was, but it was to get people more healthy. Is it Improvement Life? It was something like that. I can't remember. Don't quote me. I apologize. But that was where the Wii started, where you had the fitness board, you had the Wii Motion. They wanted people to be more active, and I think this kind of fits with it. You can't just play Pokemon sitting on your ass. You have to go and explore.
Yeah, this is, I think, a way to get Terry to get out of his house and go different places.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I didn't think it would either, but it was worth a shot.
What I'll do is I'll send you two out, and you can be my liaisons to the Pokemon world, and then you can come in and then trade with me.
Jordan, you go to Paris, get me a special Pokemon.
The special poodle Pokemon that they have in Paris. And I'll send Dave to the Amazon where Mew's from.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah, deep into the jungle. It'll be like Green Inferno.
Oh, no.
Although I think that's South America, but
Let's not do that.
go meet up with some cannibals for me and go get me a Mew.
Jordan, go find a Suicune. I need a Suicune.
How shitty is it going to be? Okay, so if it's anything like the games, those ones traveled around the world.
So you get to the spot where it's supposed to be, and it's like, oh, nope, they jumped.
They jumped somewhere else. So like, how the hell do you...
They're South Africa now. You're
It just
the
moved to
Caribbean.
Peru. You can't find it.
They better like partner up with some airline companies to get you some special special deals if you have this Pokemon or if you're visiting for this Pokemon.
Right?
I think that could be a thing. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how airlines work.
the Pokemon has their own airline now for it.
Pokemon Airlines. I'd fly that. If Nintendo had its own airplane, I would do that. I feel like it'd be something like Virgin. You ever flown Virgin?
No,
Best flight service
I don't
ever.
fly.
You don't fly ever?
I haven't flown since I was like 7, so I don't remember it.
Well, when you were 7, Virgin wasn't a thing, so that makes sense.
I don't fly.
You like George from Seinfeld? No, I don't fly.
I don't fly.
You know what? I don't fly.
It's never happened before, Jerry. I don't fly.
That kind of we can kind of that's all I really wanted to say about that. I'm excited for it. I'm really interested to see how this turns out. Whether it's good or bad, I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah,
the
it's
other part with
definitely
that,
just go for it.
well, they do have that Go Plus that they're developing with it too.
Yeah, which is essentially it looks like just a clip, kind of like the Tamagotchis or the Digimon device, the Digivices that you could just clip on and go with it. They had one similar with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Pokewalker.
Yeah, that thing.
And this is basically it's just a little clip that can link up to your phone similar to like an iWatch, and it just vibrates when you're getting a notification that goes along with the app. So nothing too cool, but at least you'll be able to recognize somebody you can battle with when you're walking down the street and you see they also have a Pokemon Go Plus. You're like, oh shit, it's going down.
I just thought I recognized them by the trainer hat they wear.
Oh, but if they're not wearing that and they're hiding behind something, you'll recognize them from the exclamation point that pops up over their head when they walk into you forcefully and make you battle with them. Get it? Because that's what they do in Pokemon.
Yep, that's how the game works.
I get it.
You guys got quiet on me. It's not fair. You guys can make jokes. I'm funny too, damn it.
We should build our own Nugget Bridge.
What's Nugget Bridge?
It's from like blue and red.
That's too far. That's too far away. I'm a nerd. I focus on the future. Unless it's a reboot, and then it's fascinating to say that it's not as good as the past.
Oh.
That's how we work, Dave. You need to read the rule book. Speaking of reboots and stuff, I was actually having this conversation at work about R-rated movies and when it's okay to introduce them to people or children, really.
ASAP.
Well, see, that's what happened with me. I watched movies like we were actually talking about Little Shop of Horrors, and that's a good movie. Not at all for children.
No.
It's a musical, but it's about a man-eating plant, and there's lots of sexual innuendo, violence.
See, the thing about the sexual innuendos is usually a lot of those will go over kids' heads.
Yeah,
That's
they won't
true.
understand most of them.
And that's true, and that's how I was when I was younger, and I don't feel... it wasn't super violent, so I didn't feel like I had been scarred for life, but, I know friends of mine who are really weird, and they saw RoboCop when they were 6. Is there a correlation, or
I saw RoboCop when I was like.
doesn't he shoot a dude's dick off in RoboCop?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
like I'm pretty sure that is
I
a
haven't
literal
seen it in
scene.
a long time, but
It's been way too long since I've seen that movie. I don't remember a dang thing other than when he got like shot to pieces.
I do remember. I think this was RoboCop 2. There was a drug dealer who was a kid. Like he was only like a few years older than me, and that was a little bit jarring because RoboCop arrests him, and this kid was saying terrible swear words that I wasn't allowed to say, and I think they were doing some sort of heroin-like drug because like you shot it up, like you stab somebody and you press the button. So that was a little bit weird to me, but other than that, the reason why I want to bring it up is because I wasn't scarred. I saw a lot of those movies too young, movies that had either sex scenes or gratuitous violence, and it didn't really shake me up too bad. I mean, I'm a strange guy, but I don't feel like it's because of the movies. What was the earliest rated R movie that you saw?
Well, I have to think of Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that's an amazing movie.
Not when you're a kid,
That's true.
because one scene in particular, there was a knife fight in this old broken down building,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of made me not want to watch any sort of violent movie until I was probably about 10.
Really?
Yeah.
It just turned you off to it?
Yeah, it just
Would you say that was the first time you started to hate something?
I didn't hate it. I just was angry.
I mean, so how old were you when you saw Saving Private Ryan?
Probably about 5 or 6.
So you're saying you didn't hate it, but it stopped you from watching any sort of violent movie for 4 years.
I was more or less just afraid of it.
Okay, now that's different. That's different. I mean, I can be afraid of something, but I feel like that set the tone for how you are now. It's like you'll just straight up abandon something. Like, no, know what? I'm not playing Mass Effect. Never again. I'm done with it.
This is true.
or Dragon Age. You didn't like the potion system in Dragon Age Inquisition. You're like, you know what? Fuck this game. I'm out.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was the accumulation of everything else I didn't like.
Again, I think you're full of shit. But what else did you hate about it?
A lot of things.
Yeah,
The way the combat worked, the way the health system was.
it's all the same as the other games.
Everyone was so flimsy in 3.
That's not how the system works. That's just something about your characters need to get stronger. It's an RPG. But we won't go into that right now. We're talking about Saving Private Ryan. God damn it, Dave. So that was the first one you saw, and it scared the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So, but you said you watched it later on. You said 10.
I didn't watch it again. I've actually
No, but more violent movies. When you were
Yeah,
10.
probably around 10 or so.
What was the next one that you would have saw?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I have a terrible memory.
You do have a terrible memory. Go sit outside. Jordan, what was the first rated R movie that you saw?
the first I can remember, because I'd probably seen a few of them before this.
Of
but
course,
Office Space was probably.
Office Space,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
That's an awesome R rated
is an
R movie.
awesome movie.
Is it rated R?
I'm pretty sure it's rated R.
Okay.
There's some nude scenes in it. And
Oh, okay.
Just on like the TV that they're watching, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But that's an interesting. I don't know if it's definitely fun for a child to see.
I don't know. I liked it.
Oh, I love it. It's one of my favorite movies, but I saw it later on in life. But I just mean I don't think that'd be scarring for you.
It,
you know,
it wasn't scarring. I mean, I'm not a person that gets scarred very easily, so
right?
I mean, I was probably broke as a child. That's probably what happened. So probably got scarred and then
you
never
saw Office
scarred
Space.
again. Not Office
Or you just
Space,
became
but-
desensitized.
Yeah.
See, the first rated R movie, I can't remember. I watched so many movies when I was younger. My parents didn't really discriminate. They're like, they weren't super mature about it, but at one point when I did start asking questions, basically what they said is, well, look, this is a movie. This isn't real violence. This sometimes does happen in real life. Some of these things are based off of it, but this is a fictionalized version of it. And I don't know if I was a necessarily smart kid, but I did understand what they were saying. Like, this isn't real.
I feel like that's a conversation that needs to happen more in
More
families
often,
because,
definitely.
Like, they always blame the media and everything, but there is a level of parenting that needs to happen. To
Yeah,
stop
there's
it.
a responsibility to you as a parent. Like, if your kid sees something that you're upset about them seeing, like, you either should have A, prevented it, or B, had a sit down with them and explained what this is.
Exactly. So explain why something like that is wrong or why
Exactly.
it's like that.
You know, there were a couple of kids in my school who got pulled out, and then they tried to, I don't know if they were trying to sue or what happened, because we carried Harry Potter in the library. I don't know if you remember when that happened.
No, I don't.
Oh, I remember that vividly, because that was right around the teacher strike thing. It was our school went through a lot of crap back then, but it was just really surprising. Like, if you don't want them to read it, explain to them why you don't want them to read it. Don't let them read it by accident, and then tell them it's wrong.
Yeah.
Break their records in half because the devil is on that album.
Mm-hmm. Like right now, I think my cousins, one of them's 6, the other one's 4.
Mhm.
My aunt and uncle don't want them to watch Harry Potter right now. I mean, my cousin Bryce could probably watch it in a year or 2 and be fine,
But they just there's certain ways that you don't want them to think the world is like. I can understand that. I'm not a religious person myself, but I can understand the argument. If that is what you believe in, you don't want your kid, to see that kind of thing. That's fine, but explain that to them so they don't see this wonderful movie that is magical
and think that your parents just don't want you to have fun.
Exactly, because that's how you're gonna see it, and they're gonna be rebellious with that. My parents, they like I said, they kind of let me watch whatever I wanted. Barring certain things, and they did keep it age appropriate a lot of times. But if we were going to watch a movie as a family, we were going to watch it as a family. That I especially attribute that to my father because I saw a lot of things I shouldn't have seen. I think like Alien. I want to reference that. Vampire Hunter D was one. We had HBO for a month, and that came on a couple times. And there's a lot of nudity in Vampire Hunter D. My dad was just like, "It's a cartoon. Why the hell is there nudity?"
Yeah, we got free HBO at one point, and then my dad had to cancel it because we were just watching movies on HBO, and I would turn it on all the time just because, they're so awesome.
But, right.
Yeah.
But there's also 4 or 5 sex scenes.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't know. There are certain things that I think I gained from it. Like I understood a lot of that stuff. A little bit younger than I should, maybe, you could argue, but I understood it growing up. So when I was 12 and my body was changing, I understood what was happening.
Right.
I understood the possibilities, which might not be a good thing. But my parents actually didn't give me the talk, but I still knew, and they knew that I knew. So they didn't have to worry about me having one of those awkward situations.
See, that's the thing about the nudity as a child. You're just putting what's in front of them, what's inevitably going to happen anyway.
Exactly, and it's good to have some of that knowledge so you can at least know how to be safe about it. Well, again, that might be a conversation for another time. But
next week's podcast.
Right. Sex education, kids. Tune in.
Puberty.
Dave's still going through puberty now. I heard you got your first pube last week. How was it?
Ingrown.
Okay. We might have to have a chat. That might be something else. Syphilis. You know what? Maybe we should show Dave RoboCop. No, and I don't really have a strong opinion on this. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know what I'm going to let them watch. I can only go by my own experience. That's why I wanted to bring it up with you guys, because I did see a lot of things a little bit younger than what society says I should. And, that's a big thing in America. A lot of other countries view nudity and pornography in 2 different lights. Like, you can go to a newsstand and just buy a nude magazine. I don't know if a kid can buy it necessarily, but it's definitely available for them to look at.
Yeah, it's definitely younger.
Exactly, and it's viewed very differently. So I just wanted to see, and nudity isn't the main thing. I think violence comes up a lot too in our rated films, especially nowadays. Language is another big one.
Drinking, smoking, that's a big thing too.
Exactly, and in the age of the people, like if you see anything that has a teenager doing anything like that, it has to be rated R. It can't be PG-13 like it used to be when we were maybe a little bit younger. But I was just curious on where you guys stood on that. So this is kind of a big segue because while we are still talking about movies, it has nothing to do with our rated R thing. Actually, you know what? A little bit. Akira was rated R, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I mean, of little bit that I have seen of it, I would assume so.
Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit about Akira. There has been some news lately. News is a light word here because it's a rumor. But Christopher Nolan is rumored to be directing the Akira live-action film. How do you feel about this? You're a Christopher Nolan fan.
I mean, yeah, I do like Christopher Nolan. I don't really have any major opinions about it because obviously
you're on the radio. You have to have an opinion on this.
I'm not a super opinionated person unless you get to comic books. That's where I'm most opinionated.
Right.
But I'm excited for it. I mean, that's all I got.
Did you like Akira?
Yeah, I did like Akira.
You did like Akira?
Yeah.
Do you think Christopher Nolan could bring something to the table for this?
I mean, usually he's very about doing different things, so I think he could do a really good job at showing like a different side of the whole thing, especially doing the whole live action form of it too.
Right, it's already going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And the way I've been looking at it actually is a lot of people don't really understand Nolan's relationship with the studios. Usually, what happens is Nolan will do a movie project that they want him to do, and then he'll do one that he wants to do. Now, I don't know which one this is, because the last one he did was Interstellar, and that was something that he wanted to do, which is rumored why he did Dark Knight Rises. Like, he did Dark Knight so he could do Inception, and then he did Dark Knight Rises so he could do Interstellar, and he did Batman Begins so he could do Memento. You know, that's kind of seems to be, you know, he does a big studio movie so then he can make his own big studio movie. And makes me wonder, does the studio want him to do Akira, or does he want to do Akira?
I'm hoping for the latter.
I am too, just because I feel like it'd be a passion project, something that he wants to get done. Now,
something he really cares about and puts effort into.
well, I mean, he really cared about Batman as well, you know, and his brother wrote those films and felt very passionate about that. So it's not like he doesn't care about those projects as much as he brings something new in the ones that he wants. I don't know if Akira necessarily needs a live-action film. They've been talking about it since we were kids.
Yeah.
At one point, Keanu Reeves was attached to the project, and I thought that would have been cool, but now he's a little bit old to play anybody in Akira.
Yeah.
He's still a badass, don't get me wrong. John Wick is awesome, but I don't know if he needs to be in it, and I don't think he's attached to this project in any way. But so how do you feel about Christopher Nolan doing an anime adaptation?
I think it's definitely got possibility. I mean, he has done work with motorcycles before. I mean, look at the Bat Pod.
The Bat Pod is definitely an awesome vehicle. And I could see that kind of carrying over the way that he has shot that with so much of that film's, motion, like the way that you capture that. Because a lot of Akira is going 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like it'd be fun. Again, I don't know if it's a good idea to do that right now because no one, even people a little bit younger than us, know what Akira is. They haven't reintroduced it in any real way.
Well, they will now.
I mean, it's true, and I guess that cycle is kind of coming around. Like, people who are having kids now would have been really into Akira when it came out, so I guess there's that possibility. Except for it's not, it's an R-rated movie. It's not for kids.
Yeah.
It's not. It's an anime, so that's where I got, exposed to it. Again, my father was like, "Oh, it's an anime movie. Yeah, sure, rent it. Let's watch it." Because I really like Princess Mononoke.
Right.
And so he was like, well, this is another one. Like, my dad was very, very into that. He was like, oh, you like this? Let me see if I can find something else that's similar. Now, Princess Mononoke,
it's a bit different than Akira.
very different than Akira. But you can see where I'm going with this. It was the first wave of that anime craze. And it happened when we were really, really young, so we weren't really a part of that. But we experienced the aftermath of it, where anime was kind of not in the mainstream, but available at least.
Yeah, people definitely knew it was popular and it could make the money. So they're going to throw it out there for you.
Exactly. So, I mean, it could make money, and having Christopher Nolan's name attached to it, I'm sure, is a big seller.
Definitely.
Which is maybe why, they have this property, they've paid a lot of money for it. If we put Nolan on it, not only is it going to be a good film, but it's going to be a seller. People who aren't necessarily into Akira will go and watch it because, hey, it's Christopher Nolan. He did Batman.
It's Batman.
It's Batman. So, Akira might not be a name, but Nolan is. So, it could be good. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I feel like once it's substantiated, once Nolan says, hey, I am making Akira, or once the studio actually goes, hey, Akira's in the works.
I mean, speaking of movies like these, I actually saw a trailer for, what was it, Battleship Yamato or something like that.
You saw a trailer? Was it a real trailer?
Yeah, a real trailer for a live-action movie that Japan is doing.
Oh, then that I can believe. They make live action shit all the time. I mean, Attack on Titan comes out this year.
I'd never seen, I had never seen the anime, but that trailer made me want to see it.
I haven't watched that one either. I know of it, but I haven't watched it. They make a lot of live action stuff over there. I mean, like Bleach has live action material over there. Attack on Titan's movie is launching this year, and it's coming overseas, so we can see it. And they're doing a live action Attack on Titan TV series right now that connects to their movie.
Huh.
I heard that one's actually really, really terrible, though.
I just want them to make season 2 of the anime.
Is that not a thing here in America?
It hasn't been announced or anything yet that I know of.
I'm pretty sure it's a thing in Japan, though. You might want to look into that. I want to give that a Google.
I haven't looked in a while, but
It's worth a Google.
It's worth Google. I don't know why when I do it I turn to that chick from CNN. What's her name? You guys are the worst. I gotta surround myself with people who are way smart. I mean, you guys are smarter than me, but people who are more confident about their intelligence. So you guys are just like, Terry, you're a dumbass. It's this.
I don't need to be confident in my intelligence because I know who I am.
You are wearing a shirt with the American flag on it.
It says UPS.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, this is American Pride.
Terry, you're wrong. God damn it.
No. God damn it, Dave. Stop talking. You're the worst. All right. We'll segue a little bit away from the movies, and I want to talk about what's going on in comic books right now. So I was reading an article. There's going to be 6 active Avengers teams all at the same time this year.
Now, were they all the same name?
No,
that'll
no.
get confusing.
New Avengers, Secret Avengers, Avengers, West Coast Avengers.
I don't remember what they're all called. I've seen a few of them in the comic books,
Right.
like promoting them, but I don't remember.
Right. That's not the point, really, what I want to bring up. I just want to bring up, there's going to be 6 Avengers groups all at the same time. Has that happened before?
Not that I know
Not
of.
that I know of
That's
either.
just
Like-
more money for me to throw out there.
How many Justice Leagues have there ever been? Like,
3 or 4.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think they've reached that number.
Unless you count Justice Society, too.
Wow.
So maybe 5. But
JSA, man.
yeah. But they usually take part in different worlds, whereas in Marvel, 616 is pretty generalized. So
Pretty standard.
I guess, I mean, if you count the Great Lakes Avengers, this probably has happened before. But it's
Probably.
still, they're launching the all new, all different Marvel.
Great Lakes Avengers.
Hey, I like the Great Lakes
I do
Avengers.
too. It's just funny.
This is supposed to be a good jumping on point for people. Like, hey, if you haven't read a lot of comics, or hey, if you used to, you can jump back on now with all these number ones. Is it a good idea to have 6 different Avengers teams?
I mean, I don't think it's needed, but I feel like people are still gonna buy it.
Oh, people are going to buy it. That's not what I'm questioning. People are going to buy all of these books. It doesn't matter. If you put out a number 1, people are going to buy it, even if they don't like comic books. You have a lot of people who are just going to buy them to hawk them again on the internet. People are going to jump on the bandwagon because they think it's going to be worth money someday. People are going to buy number 1s. That's not the argument. It's, do we need, in a world where they're trying to get more people into comics, this is a relaunch that's not for people who are already reading comics. It's for people that want to get in. Hey, we have more diversified lineups of our teams. Hey, we have more characters who are new. This is for people who don't normally read it, so they relaunch it, get more people into it. Do you need 6 Avengers groups that are gonna confuse everybody?
That's the whole thing. Is that makes it a little bit more complicated because they're looking for like a specific thing to start reading. Well, there's 6 of them right there.
Yeah. Which Avengers group do you want? No, I get. I just said that sentence. It makes a little bit more sense now. You have Avengers group with different things represented. So you're going to have different groups that have different characters. Hey, I like this guy. Maybe we're going to read this book. So I can see it there a little bit. But all of them are named Avengers. You don't think that's going to cause some confusion?
Oh, it definitely would.
I'm an avid reader of comics, and I'm a little bit confused at all these teams. Like I said, I don't even know every single one that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly hadn't even heard about it until now, so
Right.
I'm really confused.
They just snuck it in there.
Right.
Because they think like, oh, hey, this is the Secret Avengers. Oh, hey, these are the new Avengers. Oh, hey, these are the Avengers. Right now, the only real lineup that I'm watching is just the normal Avengers with Tony Stark's coming back, Miles Morales, Kamala Khan. Who else is on that team? Vision.
All right.
I think is
Yeah,
that
I can't
everybody?
remember. I have them all mixed together right now.
But so that's it's and the female Thor.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a diverse team. I'm excited for that. Some of the change seems like it's just change for the sake of change, which sucks. But also, sometimes that can be good. Sometimes that can be the catalyst that you need.
You never know what possibilities can come out of that.
Exactly. I'd be a little bit more happy if they did something neat with the Hulk. Amadeus Cho is going to be the new Hulk, which I don't know if I like his character very much. It's cool that they're going to have just a different Hulk, period. Like anybody who's not the Hulk, but still having the main moniker. I don't know if he's going to have control of his alter ego. Since he's another genius who doesn't have any identity issues, maybe he'll have control of him.
Yeah, I read a little article about it when I first heard about it, and it said that he really enjoys being the Hulk.
Yeah, I knew that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he has control of it.
True.
Some people just really like to
Lose
let go
control.
of their
Exactly. Because that was a thing that popped up a lot when the Hulk was gray. When he was the Gray Hulk, is that Bruce could just let go and be someone else. And that's why the Gray Hulk, while was more intelligent than the normal Hulk, was still a completely different person. That was partly where his identity issues came from, is he didn't want to be Bruce Banner anymore. So Amadeus Cho being of super high intellect, I think he's the 6th smartest person in that universe.
Huh.
And being a teenager and being a little bit arrogant, I can see him understanding that he is the Hulk, and when he changes, still have control. That might change. You
never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. But I think it'd be interesting if they would have added him to the main lineup. keep it more in line with the movies, which is what they do a lot, to try to make their characters more relatable so people will have that crossover.
Yeah.
Hey, you like the movie, read this book. So other than him not appearing on one of these teams, I'm excited. I think Doctor Strange is popping up on one of these teams again.
I don't remember seeing him or not.
Right, that's the main book that I'm excited about. That's why I
Yeah.
bring it up. But with the confusion that I referenced, I mean, that could just be me. It could just be me reading way too far into it. So what? There's 6 Avengers teams. There's always 25 different teams in the Marvel Universe. Why do I care? The reason why I care is recently a couple of my friends wanted to get into comic books, and they were asking me where to jump on, and I started referencing the all new, all different Marvel, and they said they wanted to read Avengers, and I said, okay, which one? So what do you think is the best books or graphic novels, just in general, which companies do you think is the best for getting people into comics?
Well, to start, I think a lot of people familiarize themselves a lot with Marvel.
Well,
Usually when starting out.
Exactly, well, with the movies and everything.
Yeah, with all that, and DC, a lot of times, especially with the way they make their movies and everything, is a lot darker. So a lot of people don't recognize with that right away. But with Marvel, I think Civil War is a really good series to start reading. You get to know some of the characters better. There's a lot of characters in it that you can just kind of see what you like. There's a little bit of everybody, and it's just a great story in general. Easy to read. Another one, Secret Wars.
Secret Wars is a good one. Which one? The new one?
Yeah. Well, the old one too, but new one's a little more confusing.
Well, when I talked about people jumping on right now, I started to reference Secret Wars, and I kind of pulled myself back from it a little bit. While it does expose you to a lot of different worlds, a lot of different characters, it does build a lot upon stories that they didn't have a chance to finish. So they're tying up a lot of loose ends. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with Secret Wars, but Civil War, definitely.
Secret Invasion, too.
Secret Invasion was a good one, except for they killed off so many characters or said that they were imposters. So if you read Civil War, definitely read Secret Invasion right after. Yeah. I agree with that. Go with those hand in hand. Civil War is where I jumped on comics mainstream, reading them every week.
Yeah.
And it was great because, I loved Spider-Man. Spider-Man has an amazing arc. I didn't know too much about Captain America. They taught me to love Captain America in that. It's one of the best arcs for Tony Stark. While it does kind of villainize him a little bit, when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. It was still a really good storyline with him. The one that I recommend most if you want to get into superhero comics is Invincible.
Very good.
I
recently just started reading that.
Yeah, is it really?
Yep.
Do you guys both like it? Do you agree with that reference?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
definitely.
with it.
Okay.
Where are you at it? I'm like 23, 24 issues
I think
in.
I'm at like 40 now.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're streets ahead.
Yeah.
It starts out as a really good parody piece to normal superhero comics, and it's just a really fun book. I usually pitch it as teen Superman meets Spider-Man. You deal with all of the teen angst of being a superhero and having to deal with that, but with way stronger powers and a little bit more responsibility than Spider-Man had at first, just because he deals with bigger threats. It's a really fun book, and eventually it becomes one of the most fascinating worlds in comics to me. Other than superhero comics, sometimes people can get into, if they're into more traditional literature. I reference a couple of books that aren't necessarily superhero comics, like Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan or Saga. Why the Last Man is a story about the world gets some sort of virus or some sort of curse, you don't know which, and all the men in the world die except for one and his monkey, who's also male. So it's right there. It's a really good female empowerment story. It's just a good piece of literature, and it has nothing to do with superheroes. So if you're a little against superheroes but still want to get into comics, it's a really good one.
There's another really good way too. A lot of people don't think about this when starting out reading comics, but a lot of TV shows have
follow-up comics
that go with it.
Completely
or just
agree.
A different storyline that just goes with the comics.
Right. Buffy.
Rick and Morty now.
Rick and Morty. Bob's Burgers as well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Buffy's a huge one.
Yeah, because it follows up the show when it was done. Firefly also has done that. You're reading Invader Zim right now, right?
Yep.
Is that a follow-up? Or is it just a different story?
Kind of, but
it's a little bit of a follow-up, but it's different too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I completely forgot about that one. That is a really good way to
That
do
also makes me think of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, that's the other one.
They eventually they're going to be working on. Right now they're just releasing art books, but they said that they do want to continue on Korra in a comic book form.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, so that would be really cool. I'd totally recommend those as well. So yeah, so if you're really into a show, Arrow and Flash both have TV comics that go along with it. Smallville continued on as a comic. So again, if you're not into a lot of the mainstream comics, those are good ways to start out. If you're into Batman, which a lot of people who don't read comics are still into Batman, because Batman, number one, is Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, has had so many movies, you know the character. There's so many good Batman stories that are either one shots or standalones, so you don't have to read 500 issues to get used to it. They also relaunched Batman 2 years ago, with New 52. So there's a good jumping on point.
Run.
Yeah, really good run. So I referenced Dark Knight or Dark Knight Returns. The Hush story is really good. Some of those just really stand on their own really well. The Long Halloween or Year One.
The other thing, not just Batman, but comics in general, a lot of times people have trouble finding like the first issue of something to read it or other things like that. Just pick up a copy of any issue and try to like read from there going on, because there's like little stories that just stop in the middle of the whole like series and then continue a different story.
Yeah, the arcs usually only last 2 or 3 issues. Sometimes you have a thread that's gone for a little bit longer, but not often. And when they do a really good job of catching you up. Even books that I don't recommend, that I don't prefer, still do a really good job of catching readers up, because the whole thing with the comic is, there is a lot of history that goes along with a lot of them. So they make them a lot with either introductory chapters or they reference things and give you a good catch up on it. So it'll give you 2 or 3 panels of going, hey, this is what the hero was doing. This is what they're doing now.
And I mean, even then, if you're having trouble looking for individual issues, you can always get those collections.
Oh, definitely. And trade paperback volumes are what I do recommend if you do want to catch up on any stories, whether it be superhero or otherwise. Just for your money, a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
And you can catch up with the trade paperbacks and then buy them month to month if you like them. Or week to week, whatever the book is. It's a good way to catch up. And if you aren't really into the collecting part of it, there are plenty of online stores, like Comixology is the one that I always use. Marvel has a good subscription program, as does DC. Image also. DC's isn't quite as good as Marvel. I don't think they have as many back issues. I think you can only read what's going on now. But Marvel has a really good collection that you can read back a lot of years. Comixology, again, that's the one. That's what the best way I say recommend it if you don't want them hard copy. There's something special about reading it, in real life.
Oh, definitely.
But if you're going money wise, Comixology always has some really great sales. I picked up all of Batman Beyond 2.0 for $20.
Dang.
Yeah, and that's over 50 comics. So.
Yeah, the other thing is, if you're ever confused about certain characters in different stories, there's always wikis that have very good explanations on what's going on with specific characters, like what they do.
Yep.
Unless it's Spider-Woman, then there's 3 disambiguation pages.
Right. Well, that's a complicated character that you're not going to understand if you just pick up a book, so you have those wikias. I use DC and the Marvel Wikia, which aren't owned by them, but they're supported by them. Both of them also have their own websites, just marvel.wiki.
Yeah.
Same thing with DC. Both of them are very good. Both have different contributors and some of the same ones that cross over. They're pretty accurate. Most of them have a good summary all the way up to what's going on this year. Usually they don't update them too much until that story arc is finished. They don't update them issue to issue. So while there are spoilers, there's still little intricate parts that you miss if you don't read the book. But if you want to find out about a character, like Jordan said, the wikis, there's really great resources that you can check out online. If you want to know, hey, is this a character I really want to get into? And that doesn't just go for the big names like DC, Marvel, and Image. All of the other studios, Boom, Oni Press, stuff like that, they have their own wikis as well. And if you're reading books that don't involve superheroes, that don't have the super rich worlds, there's still lots of different resources on them. Goodreads always does issue to issue and trade paperback. So there's lots of different resources you can find out if it's what you want to get into. So I just wanted to see what you guys really thought about that, because I love so many different books. It's hard for me to recommend so many things. So you guys gave me some good ideas on.
And I'd also have to plug The Runaways.
Just if you want to start comics, just read Runaways.
Yeah, that is a really good starting
point. The first run
too.
was amazing.
I agree with that. They do a really good job of starting out new characters that you don't have to know a lot about while referencing old ones. Like the first issue I was reading, they're playing an MMO that that they play as characters that are big names like Captain America and Spider-Man. You know,
that,
so
that was a really good issue.
Yeah, and they're in that world, but not. They're almost tangentially in that world.
Yeah,
you know, it really revolves around completely different characters. Next Wave is another one. That's just a really easy book. While it is part of the Marvel universe, it's really far detached from it, so you can read it, have good, fun superhero stuff without needing to know 1,000 issues of backstory. So I recommend that. So Invincible, Runaways. You said Civil War.
Oh yeah, always Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
Like I said before, just picking up any issue and then continuing with that, it's really easy to kind of pick up on what's going on.
Yeah, you don't have to worry if you're on issue 45 or it's 500. It does a good job of explaining what that character is about and going from there. And you can always catch up later. They usually, you know, comic books are an easy medium to get into. It just seems a little intimidating.
You'll never read every comic book that's out there, but
it's impossible.
Yeah.
I know a couple people that buy. Well, they don't anymore, but they used to buy every single book that's coming out in the DC New 52. And I mean, they had money, so I mean, I didn't, you know, get them for that. But they didn't read every single one. You just couldn't. There's just too much out there. So don't feel intimidated. Jump in, see what you like, give it a try. So not too big of a segue. Also introducing people into a little bit more nerdy things. Board games. Well, I always want to talk about board games when you come on the show, Jordan, because you know you play a lot of board games with us. Recently, we've been playing Legendary. We were playing the Paint the Town Red expansion.
Yeah, I got it on sale the other day.
Yeah, $12 compared to $25, which is awesome.
Yep.
And if you've listened to the show before, you know how much we love comic books. And Legendary is the Marvel deck building game. It's awesome. It's a great deck building game. It's a great game just on its own. Not the first game I'd recommend people to get into if they're trying to get into board games or tabletop gaming on its own.
It's a little complicated when you don't know what you're doing. You have to kind of have a background of deck building.
Deck building like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! I usually recommend those. People who aren't as hardcore into the collecting anymore, deck building games really fill that void. Along with the Marvel Versus system, that new game does a really good job of being a card battler. So you're building your deck before and then battling, but it comes with every single card that's out in one box. So you don't have to worry about, hey, this guy has better cards than me. So that's a good one. But just in general, easier games for people to get into. We talked about it last time you were here. We play a lot of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a little bit more complicated. But your other favorite game that we talked about was Catan.
Yes.
And I do recommend that as a starting
That
game.
is so much fun.
So much fun and really easy to get into. Essentially, each turn you get resources depending on what the dice rolled. You use those resources to build buildings, roads, get development cards that can add victory points to your end game or give you different supplies. It's a pretty simple game. It's so simple that it's taken up. It was one of the starts of the big board game craze, but it's now crossed over into the general public, like Monopoly or Risk. People just know Settlers of Catan, or Catan as it's now called. So I definitely recommend that as an easy one. What's some other games that you guys recommend for people getting into tabletop gaming?
I definitely have to say Munchkin.
Oh, Munchkin, that's a really good one. What do you think?
I can't think of anything right now. Right now, everything that's in my head is games that my friend made. He has a gaming company called Float a Goat Games.
Oh, okay.
They don't sponsor us or anything.
No, float a goat or float a go?
A goat.
Float a goat.
Yes, their picture is a goat with a balloon tied to its stomach.
Okay, yeah, and like Jordan said, they don't sponsor this podcast or anything like that. But I have played their Uno-like game.
Yeah,
I say Uno-like game. What's it called?
It's called something different.
Something different. Yes, yeah, that was really cool.
It's a lot like Uno, but it's a lot more interactive because there's cards that tell you to do specific things. You do different battle type things. Make up a bunch of stuff within the game yourself. It's a very hands-on type of game. Right,
and with Kickstarter, and they're on Kickstarter as well, it's really launched a bunch of new creative ideas when it comes to board games. Because before you were kind of monopolized, if you will, by the same companies like Hasbro and stuff like that. So Monopoly, Risk, these were the games you'd see all the time. And now you have so many different variations on that kind of formula that there's so many different games. Recently, zombie games have been taken off with games like Pandemic and Survive the Winter, I want to say. It's something like that. I can't remember. It's a zombie game.
I just think of Zombie Dice.
Zombie Dice is another one. That wasn't on Kickstarter, but that's just a fun game.
I've actually never played it. I just saw it in the shop.
It's a great drinking game, actually. It's just a dice rolling game, and depending on what you roll, you either kill the zombie or get bit by the zombie. But see what I mean? That's actually a really good one for beginners. Like Dave said earlier, Munchkin. Munchkin's a really good game. It's really great for people who like D&D but want an easier game because it's that same kind of idea. You kick open the door and you try to kill the monster, but it's a card game. So everybody draws from the deck. You have 2 different decks. You have door cards and you have treasure cards. Your treasure amasses your arsenal that you use to kill the monsters, and the door cards let you battle monsters or make monsters stronger or weaker. And you're essentially trying to get to level 10 by killing monsters and stop everybody else around you from getting to level 10.
And there's so many different variations of the game that, I mean, they're going to have something you like.
Exactly, whatever you're into. Recently, we were talking about on a podcast that they came out with the steampunk version.
I really need to buy that.
They have the normal one that's based off of D&D and Pathfinder, kind of, and with barbarians and dwarves.
They also just have a Munchkin
Pathfinder, I know. We have Star Munchkin, which is their space version.
Yep. There's a Super Munchkin.
Yep.
Which Adventure Time.
Which is superheroes. Yep. And then they have an Adventure Time Munchkin, which is the actual property Adventure Time, which is really, really fun. You get to pick a character and then battle through all the zombies and monsters.
I love it so much. I need to get that expansion pack.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Which that reminds me of the other game that we've played a couple times.
What's that?
Is it? Duel of the Battle Wizard. What's the full name?
Battle Wizards Duel on Mount Skullsfire.
Yeah.
An awesome game, also has an expansion that goes along with it, and that game is a lot less strategy and a little bit more luck and fun. But essentially, you pick a wizard. Part of the fun is you have to talk like your wizard. So I usually play as Pistar, and he's a beer wizard, and he has a gallon of beer on his back, and he pisses on things. And you have to talk like your wizard. So I talk like this, and I cast my spells in that voice. And you read your spell off, and they're usually based on dice rolls, and you deal damage to your fellow wizards, and whoever's the last one standing is the winner of Mount Skullsfire. But it's a really, really fun game. It's easy to learn, definitely. I played it with my nephew, who is 12, and he picked up on it really, really easy.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah, it's such a great game. So you guys recommend those games? So Munchkin, Duels of Mount Skullsfire, Catan, definitely.
Yeah, those are just all-around fun games. You just get conversations going while you're playing.
Definitely.
Usually it takes us forever to play games just because we have so much going on while we're playing.
Right. It's a good way to wind down from the games that we play online all the time. You don't chat as much. It's a good way to come back to that. Sit around. We might not have dinner together all the time. We have the TV on in the background, but when we play board games, we're together.
Definitely.
And not to maybe sound a little bit cheesy, it is a good way to bring everyone together in a family-like atmosphere. I mean, while we are friends, we're a family. So it's a good way for us to wind down and hate each other, but in a virtual tabletop space.
Is it after school already? Because this sounds like a special.
So there's some good recommendations for video games, for tabletop games, and in comic books that we recommend you try out, just because if you're nerdy, you like that kind of stuff, you want new things to try. We got about 10 minutes left, and I've gone through most of everything I wanted to talk about. We have our guest here. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Nothing. I had some stuff, but I took a nap in between that time, so I don't remember.
So nothing at all?
I mean,
you have all of these audience listeners. I feel like there's at least 25 people that listen to this podcast. With such a big audience, there's got to be something you want to say to these people.
Good afternoon.
This is where you go into your afternoon special. Dave, you were watching the Doctor Who prologue earlier.
Yeah, I saw that this week, and I'm really pumped for season 9 to start up Saturday.
Is pumped the right word? I
mean, I see a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest fan of what Stephen Moffat has been doing, but I feel I'm always hopeful that the next season will be something that I'll like more.
Right, now this is the second season with Peter Capaldi?
Yes, it is.
How many seasons do they normally do with one Doctor?
Well, excluding Christopher Eccleston, because he sadly only had one season.
Yeah.
It was
sad.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 seasons for both David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't watch it a lot, but I still, tangentially, I kind of learned about that stuff.
Or did Matt have 4? I don't remember.
Too many. I don't know. I like the idea of Peter Capaldi just because, I'm sure the companions aren't going to be swooning after a 50-year-old man. How old is he?
He's I don't know.
I don't know.
He's got gray hair.
He looks rougher in Doctor Who as compared to what I've seen him in everything else. But.
He looks a lot like the third Doctor,
Yeah.
in all honesty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure that was kind of part of what they're going for. He's Scottish, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is
And
it Italian name?
I think so.
Capaldi?
But he actually keeps his accent when he's the Doctor.
Oh, so he's actually Scottish. Huh?
Yeah.
As opposed to David Tennant, who adopted an English accent, but isn't he also Scottish?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but he talked like an Englishman.
Yep.
Okay, from the north.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every planet has a north.
Lots of planets have a north. I pick on Doctor Who a lot, but it does have some good funny.
I pick on it a lot, and I'm a fan of it.
Right. What do you like about the story that's going on so far?
Honestly, not a whole lot.
Not at all.
No, not really. I'm very disappointed with what they did with the Master.
Yeah.
He's a recurring. Well, I can't say he anymore. It is a recurring Doctor Who villain. It's been showing up since like the original series.
Yeah.
And they had a really good portrayal of him as John Sim in David Tennant's run. And in this, it became this just crazy girl named Missy.
You don't like the idea of it being gender bent?
I like the idea of it.
So what I'm trying to say to our listeners is you are sexist, right?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. No, I was actually excited when I first realized that
it was the Master when
Yeah.
you saw that promotional.
But then when I started seeing the episode more, I'm just like, this isn't the Master. She's just off her rocker.
Now, see, I can argue the exact opposite, where, if anything, this is probably the best version of the Master, because while the Doctor has been regenerated many, many different times, adopted many, many different outlooks and little intricacies, the Master has been generally the same every time he's regenerated.
I mean, yeah, I see what you're going for there.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, while it is a woman this time, we don't see that often. The Doctor's never been a woman that we know of. Because, timey-wimey things. He could have been, and we just don't know it. Him being a younger woman, right? Like, how old is she supposed to be?
I don't really know.
It looks like she's at least, 14.
14?
No?
No, that's too young. She'd be like 40 at least.
40?
Yeah.
Oh, I looked
she's a
at the
woman.
I was looking at the wrong image. I thought you said something about little girl. The Google little girl Doctor Who. Not her.
No.
Okay, so this isn't who Maisie Williams is playing in the show. Okay.
No.
Okay, so that's what I thought. Because I heard she was on the show.
Missy was from the end of the last season.
Oh, okay. So
Spoilers.
not Maisie Williams' character. Okay. So then I'm confused. I apologize. So she's 40 then.
Yeah, ish.
So
Grown woman.
So what is your problem with her being the Master?
She just I don't know. The way they wrote her character, it just doesn't really appeal to me.
No. Okay. I like the idea of him coming back as a woman. I think that's really interesting. And
also,
of course,
I do sort of have a bias because I did love John Sims so much.
Okay. So that could be it too. But I usually, since I don't like the show that much, I love dropping like different things like that. And go, Dave, but come on, in episode 23.
Well, which 23? Do you mean this one or from this one?
Right. Every planet has a north, Dave. So, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's not going to be good. Maybe she's going to be good. You just, you haven't been exposed too much to her
She's
yet,
only
so.
had like 2 episodes to actually portray that character, and I don't know what they're going to do with her in this new season.
Right, and that's a problem with the show, and it's a positive and a negative, is with the Doctor and with the Master both being Time Lords, and they change each time they regenerate. Sometimes you're going to like the character, sometimes you're not going to.
Yeah.
So it really meant, like, I'm a big fan of Christopher Eccleston's, and I didn't really like the other guys. So, and that's blasphemy in a lot of circles. I'm not a huge fan, so I don't care.
It's just because David Tennant and Matt Smith are hot, so.
Well, I think Christopher Eccleston's quite hot, so,
Yeah, but the female fan base just grabbed onto those.
I think this came on later on, with that fan base. A lot of people weren't on when the Ninth Doctor was. So,
yeah.
To segue a little bit away from Doctor Who, I have one more thing I want to talk about. And I was tweeting about this earlier in the week. With TGS coming out, and they had the Sony conference really early in the morning the other day. I was watching it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, because it was overseas. I wasn't super into it. I saw some things. I'm like, okay, that's neat. Danganronpa 3 is coming out. A little bit excited for that. They showed a little bit more about Ubisoft's For Honor. They showed some of the other classes a little bit more. They showed the Samurai class.
That game looks really sweet.
Yeah, that game looks really awesome. So to see a little bit more other than the Knights, which is what you normally saw. But then they dropped a little trailer for Kingdom Hearts. And earlier in the year, I was picking on because there was a leaked LinkedIn profile talking about Kingdom Hearts 2.9. And everyone was going, oh, that's just silly. That's ridiculous. And I agreed. I'm like, 2.9, seriously? I'm not even through 2.5 already. And they're going to launch 2. What's even going to be in 2.9? What other games are there? And you know what? They completely agreed with me. 2.9 is ridiculous. But 2.8, however, that's a completely different story. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is definitely released in 2016.
Oh, dear.
Yep, it's going to be a collection of Dream Drop Distance in HD for the PS4.
Okay.
By the way, this is all launched on PS4. All the other ones are on PS3, but 2.9 is launched on PS4.
Now, are they going to re-release the previous collections on PS4?
Who knows?
I don't really get what they're doing here, but oh well.
Oh, well. So Dream Drop Distance, something called Kingdom Hearts Back Cover, which is, I believe, is just a story. I don't know if it's a full game. And then they're doing Birth by Sleep Point 1.
Uh-huh.
And it's a unseen before chapter of Birth by Sleep. Whether it comes before or after, I don't know. But all in HD, all on PS4. So, yeah. So 2.9 again. Crazy. 2.8, totally happening.
All right.
How do you feel about that?
Mixed feelings because, I mean, there are some really good games in there.
Right.
I mean, like, I did love Birth by Sleep.
Right.
But also, I mean, they just releasing more.
But it's not all of Birth by Sleep. All of Birth by Sleep is in 2.5.
Right.
This is just one chapter. Birth by Sleep Point 1. So I don't know. Dream Drop Distance is fun. I'm excited to see it on a big screen because I played it on the 2DS actually, which was a little bit hard to see. Do you like Kingdom Hearts, Jordan?
I do. I haven't played it since the original. So.
Oh, okay. So you're a little bit behind on all that story.
Yeah.
A lot to catch up on.
Yeah,
a lot of
2.8 is exactly for you. Dream Drop Distance.
That is a huge convoluted maelstrom of awesomeness.
They've made it a little bit easier to play them with 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8. So I do recommend those if you want to check them out. I have 1.5. I can let you borrow it.
Okay.
As soon as I beat that out, I'm going to do 2.5. But I've also beat them all as they've come out. So, Chain of Memories, Birth by Sleep, 352/4, 354/2.
358 over 2.
Whatever. All dumb.
Yeah.
That's almost why 2.8 does make sense to me. So dumb. It's definitely real.
I mean, it fits the motif they're going for.
I guess. Why 2.8? Why not 2.9?
Because I don't. 2.8 is precisely in the middle of 2.5 and 3.
Oh, okay, that makes sense to me. See, why couldn't they say that? I would have been like, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna buy it anyways, and they know.
Because
that.
I mean, I feel like 2.9 would make people think that 3 is that much closer.
Right. I wonder what they're gonna sell it for because I'm not gonna pay $60 for it.
Yeah.
I bought 1.5 for $20 when it went on sale. But they 1.5 and 2.5 both launched at $40. So, but those were for PS3. This is for PS4. So who knows what they're gonna do with that? Other than that, I don't know if I'm excited. I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to be here already. I know that's not going to come out till way after Final Fantasy 15, which isn't even launching for another year at least, so probably in 2017, if we're lucky. They're going to announce a date in March, they said.
Oh, okay.
So they're announcing the date in March 2016. So we got some time left before these games come out. But I'm excited nonetheless. You have some recommendations. Guys, thank you for coming out and recording with me. Jordan, you have anything you want to plug? Any projects?
Not really.
Want to plug your church choir?
I mean, it's not choir, but I play drums at church.
Well, we can make it a choir.
We can make it a choir.
An all-boys choir.
I don't know if you want me and Dave singing there. We're quite tone deaf. Dave, you have anything you want to plug?
Yo mama.
Ouch.
Other than that, nothing.
I'm going to cry a little bit. I have something I want to plug. If you guys are in the Michigan area of...
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Oakland County area.
Of Oakland County. I have a booth at Septemberfest in Ortonville this year. Me and a couple of our roommates, we have all of our art supplies out there. I have sculptures out. My roommate, she has a bunch of awesome woodworking there. My wife has paintings up, so go ahead and check us out. We're going to be at the Cave Trolls Podcast booth. My roommate Amy, she also has a booth there. Come and check us out if you're in the area. If not, fuck off. We're going to be launching an Etsy store soon. You'll see that up on Cave Trolls Podcast. .squarespace.com. If you want to check us out on Twitter, we're at Cave Trolls Cast. On Facebook, we're at Cave Trolls Cast. .facebook, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, search Facebook for Cave Trolls Cast. If you want to email us, we are cavetrollscast@gmail.com. So look us up. I am Resident Stevel with 2 E's at Twitter. Dave, do you have a Twitter?
I do actually.
Do you? Have you been tweeting?
No.
No twats?
Nope.
Jordan, do you want any new followers? You can plug your Twitter right here.
I mean, if they want to, my Twitter is extrajordinary. There is an underscore after extra and an underscore after Jordan.
Oh, that is such
I'm
a cool
actually
name.
Really impressive that name.
I'm very jealous. Yours makes sense.
Mine's just my friggin' real name.
Which is very difficult to find because you have a Polish last name.
Right?
Tulgetske, Tulgetske. Yeah, I'm awesome. I've also known you since we were like 5. So everybody, thank you for listening.